Well, first, although it's unprecedented that former President Trump has been indicted under federal charges, it was close to that with President Richard Nixon after he resigned in confronting the possibility and likelihood of impeachment and removal. He was on the verge of being indicted for obstruction of justice and perjury. I was there at the time at the Justice Department until President Ford pardoned him. So this is not the first time a former president has under serious federal investigation. I believe that having read the indictment, it truly is devastating. Actually, the indictment itself recites the actual audio tape in which Mr. Trump is saying, I know this is classified information. It relates to attacking a foreign country. I know I'm not supposed to have it, and you shouldn't be seeing it. He's showing it to a writer. I could have declassified it if I'm president, but I'm not, where he's acknowledging that he knew what he was doing was wrong, and intent being a very important ingredient of any federal criminal prosecution here. And this is a very granular indictment, far more granular than one in New York, where he lays out literally 30 of the instances in which the documents had national defense information in them and that they were retained by Mr. Trump. It was not inadvertent. They clearly had evidence that he was moving boxes out of the storage room into his residence, into Bedminster, and then back again, right, with a clear intent of trying to avoid or evade the subpoena that had been issued. That's why, in fact, one of his aides, his valet, was indicted as well for lying about his knowledge of the movement of these boxes of information. And he's also been charged with false statements, conspiring to mislead the Department of Justice lawyers in claiming that they had searched everywhere in the boxes and had given all the classified or national defense information over. So this is very serious stuff. And I think it's important to recognize this is not, the last stop here on federal charges. My view is that by the end of the summer, we'll have additional charges against Mr. Trump relating to insurrection on January 6th, especially in light of Mr. Mike Pence, the former vice president's statement openly this last week that Mr. Trump confronted him with a choice between going with Trump or the Constitution, and mainly enforcing the 12th Amendment obligation to count electoral votes. And he chose the Constitution, which shows the mental intent of Mr. Trump behind the January 6th march on the Capitol, right, was to frustrate enforcement of the Constitution, which is the definition of insurrection. That's especially problematic for Mr. Trump, because a violation of that prohibition would disqualify him for the White House under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment.